Welcome to Make a Path Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today let's talk Preacher Season 1, Episode 9. Now, if you watched my Outcast review, my microphone is broken, so please just bear with me. The new one is on the way. Now, we're going to start this off with a slight negative, but hang in there. I do have a lot of fun with this TV show. So, first up, Cowboy. He looks awesome. I like his story. It is interesting. However, I felt like it was a little redundant where they kept beating us over the head with how his life is on repeat, and it left me with the question of why the hell did we even see his story or a piece of his story in a previous episode that was so far detached from this episode. It felt like they repeated the story more in case we forgot as viewers, And some of it was cool, like where he was at the fire and the guy said, yeah, isn't this paradise? And the cowboy was like, no, it's definitely not paradise. You know what I mean? Because he's in hell, like, duh. So yeah, the cowboy, the whole story, it looks cool, but part of me felt like, well, why did he walk in the bar and shoot off like 36 shots or some shit like that? I stopped really counting at 30, but he definitely licked off a few more shots. Now, I know you're going to say he's in hell, so it doesn't matter. He can have an unlimited, hand cannon, but if you think about it, he's repeating his own life, right? So when he walks into the bar in real life before he went to hell, I mean, there was that many people there before, right? He's reliving the events, so wouldn't he reload? I don't know. That's a little thing to nitpick, I guess, but it sucked me out of the scene because I heard the shots, bang, 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 and I'm waiting for him to reload, and I'm like, nope. They're not going to do it. Fuck the reload. But I still like the cowboy, and I definitely want to see him get out of hell and raise some hell on earth. Let's switch gears and talk about the dam. I know you guys had to have seen it if you watched Breaking Bad. They put a little Easter egg here where the two government agent angels were waiting for a ride to come pick them up. They were waiting in the same spots that both Jesse and Walter White from Breaking Bad were also waiting in for somebody to come pick them up. I thought it was a cool Easter egg, and I noticed it immediately. The way they filmed it, the camera angle, everything the same area. I had to look it up to make sure and confirm that I wasn't just losing my shit, and it definitely was a Breaking Bad Easter egg, which is pretty awesome. Now, to Cassidy. He looked vicious. I'll point that out because it relates to Tulip's story where I'm a little lost here. It felt like Tulip was leaving and she was mad at the preacher, but then did the preacher and Tulip and Cassidy, did they know that Cassidy was there? I don't know, I got a little lost there. With Tulip's story, it feels like she is still kind of floating around. She enters the story and she has parts of her story and even her main event where she went to Albuquerque to hunt down the guy that betrayed both her and Jesse. That is definitely her story. She owns all of that. But I just feel like at this point they're floating her out of Jesse's story because there's no room for her anymore. It's a character that I love the actor's charisma and I want them to do more with this character. I'm loving Tulip. Loving the character. I just want them to give her some more material that is more important, or at least feels more important, if you know what I mean. Now, real quickly, I want to talk about the sheriff and this bloody ass scene here. Now, it was nice how they showed the sheriff's compassion and looking at this woman. He's looking at a woman who has her arms and legs chopped off, and imagine that life. He's probably thinking the pain she already gone through put her out of her misery, and he's tearing up. It's breaking him down, and to realize this is not just a regular person there, and she's going to respawn, so to speak, as soon as he kills her. I like that dynamic they did, especially instead of having her just respawn somewhere else, she respawns looking into the doorway a moment. At first I thought she was going to tell him, like, listen, bro, don't sweat it, you know what I mean? And then leave him shocked, like, whoa, what the hell just went on? But nope, she lets him simmer in that misery right there, and she just bounces. She's like, I'm out of here. Now, let's talk about Emily, because last week, we were just talking about how she is a shitty parent, and she's a shitty jump-off. Well, this episode, she climbed the mountain of the world's shittiest jump-off. You didn't know what a jump-off is, it's a booty call, but she climbed to the mountain, where she basically set Miles up, called him for help, and then pushed him into the room, which at first I thought, is she going to try to get herself turned into a vampire? No. And then when she called Miles, I was like, oh, this sick bitch. She can't get rid of this guy out of her life, and she just decides, well, I'm going to fucking throw him in with a vampire. Problem solved. Like, just think about it. We were just knocking her for being a shitty character, not poorly written, but just being a bad parent, a selfish character to the fullest, and now she murders somebody who just liked her. You know what I mean? That was his only crime. Yes, he had the most obnoxious laugh on the telephone. I probably would have set him up just based on that laugh alone. You know what I mean? But what kind of character is this? I'm actually even more interested in Emily, because if she does not become a villain somehow, some way, I don't know what the hell they're doing. They could call her the booty call butcher. Now with Preacher and Cassidy, yes, I'm liking the Preacher more. I like him a lot more when he's being cool and when he apologizes to Cassidy. I love that. However, with the fire scene, I'm still fuzzy. Cassidy does say that the Preacher put him out, but then the Preacher came back inside as if he was like exhausted. He was worried. He was like, holy shit, I just watched a vampire catch on fire. And then he is eating his food, and it's like, wait a minute, because then you have the sheriff coming and going. You have Tulip, she got up and left, and then Emily, who took his body? Who picked his body up? I am absolutely lost here. How those events came and went, and it felt like, again, like the Preacher knew that he was at Tulip's, and she was trying to bring him back or get him healthy again, and I'm fucking lost, man. I'll be honest with you. But it ended with some humor. I really like the Goodfellas type scene where they're burying the body, and the silliness that I love is where Cassidy just pulls Angel Hands out of this, box in the ground, and he's like, how many do you need? 1, 2, 3? And he's like, nah, 1 will be fine. Now, you would think that they need to be living Angel Hands, but I guess, dead works too. But that's funny. Then they throw Miles in, and they start taking the animal bodies and furs and throwing them in. Like, that shit is hilarious. Now, that matches perfectly with the fun that I have watching this series. And I think the cast is great. I can't really pick out many flaws with the cast. I think there's a lot of charisma. They're fun to watch, even if the story isn't all that interesting. Like when the two agents, the angel agents, I butcher their names all the time, but it's like DeBlanc or some shit like that. But when they are going down south and they're, being coy and they're trying to travel to hell, you know what I mean? Being slick with it. I didn't care about that scene. I knew where they were going. I knew what they were hinting at. It's like, get to the point already. But the reason why I'm not rushing it while I'm watching it is because I enjoy the actors. All the actors. I like seeing their mannerisms and their goofiness sometimes, the silliness, seriousness. I think most of the cast does a great job. When the story starts lacking, I feel like the cast picks up that weight, and that's really refreshing. Now, I do feel, though, now that Season 1 is coming to a close, I do feel, though, that Season 2 really needs a different environment. Like, I feel like this is all build-up, and it's going to take flight, and I'm hoping that Season 2 is where it can spread its wings. Now, again, I don't read the comic books, so I'm not caught up. I don't know what they have planned. I don't even know I don't know if the whole story takes place in this little town, but I tell you what, I'm hoping it doesn't, because there's just something here where I'm really hoping we get a refreshing atmosphere, and I do know from the trailer, it looked like they're going to go on the road. And if that's the case, I am thrilled already for Season 2. Well, that's all I got for this episode. You guys give me your thoughts and opinions. What did you think about this episode and this season so far? And again, I apologize for the shitty mic. I don't even want to post these videos. I just want to wait it out and get the new microphone. But it's been a week already. I can't wait any longer. All right. Thoughts and opinions in that comment box. I'm done talking. It's your turn. Subscribe now.